Good morning, Roll Gang, and welcome on in to another episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. I am your host, Processor Sky, and it is time for a midweek mailbag episode of the show, the day where we answer a bunch of the questions from the Roll Gangsters on Twitter. Shout out to everybody tuning in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You guys are all the shit. If this is your first time tuning in to the Weekday Wake and Bake, I am Processor Sky, and we go live every weekday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time, with the Roll Gangsters to chop it up about some cannabis content and smoke some weed, because after all, it's stoner law that if you have a woke, we must have a smoke. So really great to see you guys this morning. Everybody tuning in on all the streaming platforms. You guys are the best. Doing it for you every weekday morning. Before I get on into the questions, wanted to ask you guys what you're smoking on. If you could give me the info in the comments section, I would love to know what you guys are smoking on this morning. But otherwise, I am going to give a quick shout out to the sponsors of the show, because they make it happen for the Weekday Wake and Bake and help out the Roll Gangsters at the same time. First and foremost, the first ever cannabis college, Oaksterdam University. The place to go to study all there is to study about this amazing plant and claim your stake in this budding industry. You can go to Oaksterdam University and study cannabis horticulture. You can learn how to grow in soil, organic, hydroponic, you name it. You can learn it at Oaksterdam. Promo code Rolling Spoon gets you 10% off tuition at school for cannabis. Oaksterdam University, the first ever cannabis college to boost your cannabis knowledge. And this episode, as always, name sponsor, brought to you by the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool, helping me to roll a dime every time. I just don't believe that people are going to pinch their herb out of their grinder with their fingers forever. So I invented this little grinder scoop that helps me out, gets my herb out of my grinder and onto my paper, and then helps out in a couple different aspects of the rolling process as well. We got a straight edge on here, we got a grinder poke, a grinder pick, all the tools on the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool. See, I'm going to scoop a nice hefty scoop of herb into my joint paper, and do a little halfy more, and bam, we got ourselves all the herb we need for a nice little joint. Close it, use the straight edge right in there like so, boom. And basically, this baby's ready to tuck. You can basically just get this baby tucked and spark it. Boom. Let's go. Let's spark up and get on into these midweek mailbag questions. Major shout out our contributors to this week's midweek mailbag episode. We got at Rod Kingman, Pyro Don 41, Malik Fury 01, Mate of Checks, and Cat and Mouse, ladies and gentlemen. These are the folks that contributed to this week's midweek mailbag. Super excited to answer their questions. Brought to you by the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool and Oaksterdam University. So the first question is from at Rod Kingman. I saw you at work. Is it fun? Yo, Rod, huge shout out to my guy, Rod Kingman, coming into the store. I do remember. We had a nice little pot sale over at Medicine, my place of work, And yeah, it was fucking great to see Rod at Rod Kingman. Yeah, it is a ton of fun. Trap and herb professionally over at Medicine. Appreciate the question. And I really appreciate the submission. I saw him at work yesterday, and he asked how he could participate in the show. And I said, we're doing a midweek mailbag. I would love for you to ask a question to be answered on the show. And he did. So major shout out, Rod Kingman, coming into Medicine and getting some herb, as well as contributing to this week's episode of the Midweek Mailbag. The next question comes from at PyroDon41. Woo! It's a good smoke roll, gang. Let me know what you're smoking on this morning. Woo! At PyroDon41 says, do you know any good ways to get higher when you smoke? So I have 3 good answers to this question. The first one is a little bit of a myth. I don't actually think it's factual, but you can give it a try. People eat mangoes to get a little bit more high whenever they smoke weed. Eating mangoes has a bunch of myrcene in it, so it can boost the entourage effect of when you smoke, but I don't know if it actually gets you higher. The 2 things that I have experienced that definitively get me higher when I smoke is, 1, smoking with people that are awesome. You know what I mean? When I consume cannabis with other people that are cool, I get super blazed. Like, my body gets higher than when I smoke the same joint by myself. So that would be the first thing I would say to get higher. And the second thing you could do to get higher is earn it. You know what I mean? Weed hits harder after a long day's work, after running a bunch of errands. If you deserve your smoke, if you feel like you deserve your smoke anyways, it will hit harder. So shout out PyroDon41, great question. What is the best ways to get higher when you consume cannabis? Eat mangoes, smoke with friends, and earn it. You know what I mean? If you do all 3, shit, you are about to get blazed. I'm sure you'll feel it a little extra. Shout out PyroDon for the awesome question. Next up, at Malik Fury01 on Twitter. Shout out Leek, the boy Leek. What's your favorite griddle breakfast? Just says favorite griddle breakfast on the tweet. But yo, I'm gonna have to go with waffles. I love pancakes, French toast, but there's something about the fluffy texture and density of a good waffle. It's like cake in the morning, you know? Throw some butter, dip some syrup. Whew! Get me a fucking Belgian waffle. Gotta love that shit. I actually fucking love those homemade waffles you can get at the Continental Breakfast at hotels. If you know what I mean, at all the hotels in the morning when you go to the free breakfast, you can serve yourself some waffle batter and then pour it in the waffle maker. That's my favorite way to do it. I can make it a little underdone, a little bit more doughy. Shout out Malik Fury01 on Twitter for the question. Next question comes from at Mate of Checks. I absolutely love the chess themed Twitter handle. But before I answer the question from at Mate of Checks, shout out the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool and Oaksterdam University, the sponsors of the show. Oaksterdam, the place to go to boost your cannabis knowledge, the first and only cannabis college. Oaksterdam University to claim your stake in this budding industry, and the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool to help you roll a dime every time. So at Made of Czech says, do you watch any sports? So yes, I have answered this question on the show, and I absolutely love sports. I might actually do like a once in a month sports segment on the Weekday Wake and Bake. I'd absolutely love to update you guys on the sports that I watch. I watch 3 extremely entertaining sports. The first one, season just ended, Formula One, the fastest auto racing on the planet. Shout out the champion of the world this season, Max Verstappen, a 97 baby, just like me. He was born in September 97. I was born in December 97. And he is 2-time champion of the world, the best driver on the planet, Max Verstappen. Love watching Formula One. I also love watching fighting, UFC fighting. It is so addictive. And NFL football. So yeah, 3 Fs of sports. Formula One, fighting, football. And I'm a die-hard, blue-bleeding Tennessee Titans fan. Shout out Mike Vrabel. I actually got to do a Motivational Monday. Did a whole bunch of motivational quotes with only Mike Vrabel quotes. It was my favorite Motivational Monday. But huge shout out at Mate of Checks. I also play chess. I don't know if you consider that a sport. I'd love to know your answer to that question. If you could answer in the comments, is chess a sport? Would love to know your opinion on it. Is chess a sport and why? It is great to get your opinions on all of this bullshit, Roll Gangsters. Shout out at Mate of Checks for the awesome question. I do love sports, but is chess a sport? I say yes, but I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. The last question on this midweek mailbag comes from at Cat and Mouse, M-O-W-S, M-O-W-Z, Cat and Mouse. But, says candles, essential oils, or incense? I saved the best question for last. That is awesome. Candles, essential oils, or incense? I actually love all 3, but let's power rank them out. My favorite is essential oils. You know, clean, no combustion, no fire hazard, fire risk, and supernatural, supernaturally natural. Essential oils. Then I absolutely love incense. I have this incense that smells like cannabis, so I like to burn it in the house, and when people are like, yo, it smells like weed in here, I just say, yeah, I got these pot-scented incense. That's what it is. It's not the weed. Duh, right? Good cover-up. And then I absolutely love candles, too. My parents just got me an awesome candle for Thanksgiving that I've been hotboxing my smoke room with. It smells like chocolate, and it is absolutely delicious. Shout out my parents for the awesome candle. Shout out Cat and Mouse for the awesome question. Essential oils, incense, candles. But mostly, first and foremost, shout out the Roll Gangsters. Absolutely love you guys. Everybody tuning in and that contributed to this episode of the Midweek Mailbag. So much love to all of you, and I hope you have a great Wednesday here in this late November, coming around the bend on the last month of the year, December. It is my month, December 10th, my birthday, and we're almost done with 2022. On to the year of Michael Jordan, 23. So, major shout out to everybody who contributed to the Midweek Mailbag. Everybody tuning in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch for another episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake, live every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, the place to go to get all of your cannabis content every weekday morning for free and out of love for the absolute best, the Roll Gangsters. Mwah! Love you guys so much. I will see you tomorrow for cannabis news. Canna News Thursday on deck. Let's get it. Love y'all.